Hey everybody, it's Steph Gaudreau. I'm here today with a live demonstration video. Today I'm going to be making fire cider. If you've never heard of what it is, I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to show you really how simple it is to make. So thanks for joining me. Of course, I run stephgaudreau.com. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner. I'm a certified intuitive eating coach and a strength coach. Most of you know who I am, but you're here in my kitchen today, and I'm going to be sharing with you how to make this recipe. I'm also going to post the blog post where you can find, the actual written recipe. There you go. And so you can follow along with me as I make fire cider. What is fire cider? Okay, really good question. Fire cider is a vinegar infusion. So we're going to be taking apple cider vinegar. We're going to be taking aromatic roots and herbs and spices, and we're going to be infusing that apple cider vinegar for 3 or 4 weeks. But we're going to have to prep it now and then give it some love over the next month or so in order to make this infusion. Now, fire cider is technically called an oxymel if we add some honey to it at the end. So at the end of 3 or 4 weeks, if you want to add a little bit of honey as a sweetener to that, you can certainly do so, and that would be technically called an oxymel. So there's lots of different ways to make fire cider. There are so many different ingredients that you can add, and of course the one I'm going to show you today is just my personal favorite, the blend that I like, and you can really play around with it and get some really interesting flavors. So just so you know, of course the ingredients in here can be supportive of your digestive health, of your immune system, but we don't want to make any assumptions that this is going to help cure anything. So if you see people running around saying that fire cider is going to cure stuff, you want to make sure you look at that a little bit skeptically. So just so you know, we're not making any of those claims here today. Okay, so the hardest part about making fire cider is 2 things. First of all, just gathering all the different ingredients, and second of all, waiting. We've got lots of time to kill over the next who knows how long. So hopefully you'll be able to get a batch of this started and then give it some love over the next month or so. So here's what we're going to need. We're going to need a very big jar. Now you could certainly do this in 2 smaller jars, but the recipe that I use is going to make about 1 of these. This is a 2-quart mason jar. You can certainly split it in half if you need to. You're going to need some raw apple cider vinegar. It doesn't matter what brand, just make sure it's raw. I really probably wouldn't do this with other kinds of vinegars, but you could. There's no rules against it. I just find that apple cider vinegar has a really nice flavor, and you're going to get the benefits of all the things that are in there. And then you're going to need to gather your roots, your aromatics, your herbs, your spices. So my recipe includes things like onion. It includes oranges. I use some cinnamon sticks, some horseradish. This is horseradish root if you've never seen it. Lots of different stuff. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prep some of this and show you what I do, and then some of it I've already pre-done. So all we have to do is either chop everything up or grate it up, or sometimes we add the herbs and spices whole, and we're going to layer it, and then we're going to pour in the vinegar, and that's really about it. Now you can certainly use a box grater if you want to break down the ginger, the horseradish, and I use fresh turmeric as well. You could use a box grater. Get yourself a bicep workout, forearm workout. I don't use this. I cheat and I use my food processor, but either one will work. You just want to make sure you have something that's going to break down some of those tough roots. So because this is a vinegar infusion, we want to give enough surface area for the vinegar to actually penetrate and get right in there. So if we leave the chunks too big, especially the tough things like the ginger root, this is what ginger root looks like, right? Or the horseradish, especially these 2 things, and maybe even the turmeric. If we leave these pieces too big, it's going to be a lot harder for the vinegar to get in there and break down the cell walls and all the good stuff. So this is fresh turmeric if you've never seen it. When you cut it open, it has that brilliant orange. It will stain everything it touches, so just know that. But look at it on the inside. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? It's just such a gorgeous orange color. Okay, so that's fresh turmeric. You can use dried spices. You could use dried things, but they're not going to be quite the same. So if you really are in a pinch and you don't have something, you could potentially swap it in, okay? So let's take a look at what I got. All right, in this bowl, I've already grated up. This is a combination of the ginger and the horseradish, and believe you me, it is strong. Horseradish, especially fresh stuff, is so strong. It's almost like has that same effect on your eyes as when you cut onions. It's making my eyes water. So I'm going to take this. It's already done up, and you can get the quantities and stuff on the blog post. Wow, it's super strong. Wow. Woo. Clear out your sinuses, make your eyes water. So I'm just going to load that into the jar. If there's any juice, make sure you get that too. Wow, my eyes are so watering right now. I'm literally crying. Okay, so I put that all in. Yeah, been meaning to make it. Well, now you've got a demo. Okay, so now I'm going to take my turmeric. Turmeric is awesome. Has curcumin, right? Great for anti-inflammatory purposes. And it makes it this really awesome kind of orange color. So I just load these into the jar. There's no right or wrong order to do this. And I kind of just push it down gently. Now at the end of about 3 or 4 weeks, when you strain it off, it's going to look kind of like this. So it is going to turn color. Yeah, fresh turmeric. You can find it in a lot of stores now, Rachel. You can use dried turmeric, or like sometimes you can find dried bigger pieces of turmeric. You can use those too. I would probably prefer that to the powdered, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? All right, so let's add an onion to this. So I'm just going to take an onion. This is kind of a medium-sized onion. And here's a little tip. When you have your onion and you cut off all the onion skin and the tops and the bottoms, get yourself a freezer bag and pop all that in there, the trimmings. And you can use this to make broth. Yes, even, see this onion skin? You can use that to make bone broth. So keep that in your freezer. I've got a bag of all this kind of stuff frozen. Ends of carrots and celery and onions and parsley ends and all this stuff. So I'm just going to chop up this onion about like this. They're probably about 1/2-inch pieces, and I'm just going to pop that in. I'll do the other half later. Okay, now I am also going to add garlic. We love garlic, right? It's got that nice antimicrobial, antiviral. So again, take these little papery parts. Gosh, my eyes are still watering. Yeah, don't touch your face at all. Okay, so for the garlic, I take off like a lot of the, the outside papery parts. Now, super quick way to do garlic, everybody. Take your knife and take your pieces of garlic. I'm not going to chop these up, but I do want to release I do want to break them up a little bit. So take your knife, take the back of your knife, put it down on the garlic and hit it with the heel of your palm. And what that does is it kind of breaks it up a little bit. Okay? And I'm just going to throw that in. Just smashing it, right? This is what I use to peel my garlic because it loosens the skin. So just tap it. If you wanted to take the skin off, there you go. Toss it all in. So we're just smashing it so it can release the juices. It is going to be sitting in there for about a month, so it's going to have plenty of time. All right, next, citrus. Okay, so I've got 2 oranges and a lemon. This is going to be part of our flavoring that we add, and then obviously we're going to be getting all the essential oils and everything that's in the outside of the citrus. Now here's the thing, wash it, and then you need a grater. This is a microplane grater. You want to use this peel that's on the outside, like the very outer coating. Okay, so we're going to take this and I'm just going to run it on my grater like this. And I want to remove the zest. The zest has so much flavor, y'all. Don't throw away your zest. If you have citrus in a recipe, always use the zest. It is so flavorful. It is where those essential oils are located. Okay, so I'm gonna get the zest of this lemon and 2 oranges. Look at that. That's all flavor. You want to put that in. I'm going to do the same for my orange. Give it a wash, obviously, before you do this. And I did lightly wash, you know, lightly rinse everything, especially the roots, like the ginger, the horseradish. Okay, so I'm going to get, oh, smells so good. I like to add citrus because I really do like the flavor that it adds. So what can you do with fire cider? Well, you can straight up just shoot it in a shot glass, chase it with some water. You can put it into a salad dressing. You can put it into a soup or a stew. You can put it into drizzle it over a salad dressing. You can put it in sparkling water as almost like a, so there's all that. Oh, look at all that flavor. That goes right in the jar. Okay. You can drizzle it over your salad, drizzle it over greens, drizzle it over veggies. You can put it, like I said, in a sparkling water, make a fancy drink out of it. So then we want the juice. You can squeeze that right in. Doesn't matter if seeds get in. Who cares? We're not going to actually use this here. Now, I just want to talk really quickly about when you are putting this together. I think that one of the most important things you can do is, you know, connect with these ingredients, set an intention, be grateful for the ability to be able to put this all together. Thank the herbs and the spices for everything that they have, for what they're going to offer. And then when you check in on it every day, because you're going to want to invert the jar and kind of give it a gentle shake every day, just like, you know, give some gratitude. Plants have an energy. Plants have so many amazing things that they can teach us. And I know this is kind of in a culinary sense that we're using these, but it's the same thing, right? So, I don't know. I tend to think about that stuff. And then when when everything is spent and ready to throw away or compost, you know, give gratitude for that. All right. So I put my orange and my lemon juice in there. Now, if you notice, I haven't done the hot peppers yet. I'm saving those to the end because I want the least likelihood of touching my face and putting that in my eyes. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to add some other things. So I went out in my garden and I picked some rosemary. You can also add spices or herbs like fresh thyme would be really beautiful. You can add dried herbs as well. I just really like the fresh. This came out of the garden. It smells so good. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of just gently give it a squeeze, kind of like bruising it up just a little bit just to release the essential oils in there. Just drop it right in. Okay. I add cinnamon. I like to add a cinnamon stick or 2. It gives it a nice subtle flavor of cinnamon. It's kind of warming and gives it just that nice aroma of cinnamon. Just drop it in. I might do 2. Intuitively, I feel like 2 is the right answer today. Okay, put that in. Just drop it in. Okay, some peppercorns. I have some whole peppercorns. You could certainly add some ground up pepper if you want. But pepper really helps to activate the curcumin, or make it bioavailable, I should say, not necessarily activate it, but in the turmeric. So we're gonna add just a generous pinch. You can kind of smash this a little bit if you want, but I find it tends to make a mess and then roll all over the floor. Cayenne pepper. For this, I do have ground. Shake it in. By the way, this can get pretty spicy. So if you like spicy stuff, that's great. Okay, and then almost last but not least, hot peppers. Okay, so you can add really any hot peppers you like. You want habaneros, you go habaneros. You want jalapenos, you go jalapenos. These are Anaheims, I think. No, that's not right. I can't remember what these are. The name escapes me. I know what it is, but I can't remember at the moment. Okay, who knows what this is? So what I'm gonna do for these, I've already washed them. I'm just gonna slice them and put them in as slices. If you want it less spicy, but you want the flavor of pepper, you can scrape out the seeds. You really want to make sure you wash your hands, and that's why I'm doing this last, is because if you touch your eyes, this is gonna burn. So I'm just gonna slice this up. Wow, this knife is super dull. Awesome. Also, is this knife? Wow, this is crazy. I'm grabbing another knife. Hold. I keep meaning to get my knife sharpened. Okay, so I'm just gonna slice these up. Serrano peppers. That's what these are. See, I knew I'd remember. Serrano peppers. Serrano peppers are pretty spicy, so I'm gonna put in, I think, 2. Just whole. And that's about it, okay? So again, you can customize this however you want. Everybody has their own favorite, set of ingredients, what's available to them, things that they like to put in. Now, after this, what I'm gonna do is add my vinegar. Yep, Julie's Serrano peppers. You know what, I wanna add the other half of this onion as well. These onions are a bit small. So I'm gonna add that, put it in my garbage bowl. Who here uses a garbage bowl? Shout out to everybody who used to watch 30-minute meals with Rachel Ray. I use a garbage bowl. Makes cooking so much easier. Okay, so I'm gonna add the other half of this pepper, or this onion. It looked a little bit sparse in the jar. Okay. I haven't forgotten that I have not washed my hands yet, so I'm really gonna not put them in my face. All right, now, last step is I'm going to add my vinegar, okay? So you're gonna take your raw apple cider vinegar and you're just gonna dump it in. You want to cover everything. It has to be, whatever you put in this jar has got to be covered with vinegar. The reason is the vinegar, obviously, as an acid, is going to help preserve what's inside and keep it from going bad, from molding, rotting, etc. But if you don't cover it up, it's going to be sticking out in the air. We don't want that, okay? So we want to make sure it's fully covered. And that's that. Now I'm going to tell you a trick that you've got to do. So I fill it up pretty much almost all the way to the top. You might want to leave a little bit of space, because what's going to happen is these fresh vegetables and herbs and roots are going to release a little bit of liquid. So if you fill it literally to the top, it's not going to have anywhere to go, and it's going to like ooze out and not going to be great. So for the first few days to a week, make sure you give it a little bit of space there. And before you put the lid on, okay, you have got to put some wax paper. This is wax paper, not parchment paper. Wax paper over the mouth of the jar. Then you're gonna add your mason jar lid. Why? Because this has ringed with metal. Even though it's like coated with plastic, it will erode the acid, the vinegar will erode this metal, and so we don't want that to happen. So we're going to put a layer of wax paper, then you put the lid right on top, and then you add the ring. You have to do that step. Please don't skip that step. Tighten it up. There you go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to invert this, mix everything up, and then this is going to go in a dark cabinet for 3 or 4 weeks. Every day when you get up in the morning, I usually do this while I'm drinking my, my first glass of water in the morning. I open so it goes right in here. So every day I take it out while I'm having my, breakfast stuff, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Fire Cider? How you doing? And I give it a gentle invert like that, and then I put it back in. Obviously put a sticker on it, or a sticky note with the date that you started it, because you're probably not going to remember, and you want to make sure you know the date, okay? And what it is. Then when you're done, after 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to strain it out. You're going to add your honey if you want, and then you're gonna bottle it up and it goes in the refrigerator, okay? So it's an infused vinegar, tastes amazing. I love it. It's got a little pep, a little spice, little citrus, a little warmth from the different spices. And like I said, I'll link to the blog post where you can check out my exact recipe. You can see some photos and what I put in and other uses for it. All right? Have any questions, let me know. And I hope you all have a really, really great day.